Everything you are experiencing at this moment is a reflection of what you have thought and believed up to today, and what awaits you ahead will depend entirely on what you decide to believe from now on. If you truly believe it, you make it a reality. There are people who have achieved incredible things, not because they were geniuses, nor because they had luck or strength, but because they had an unshakable conviction. They trusted their ideas, bet on their goals, and most importantly, believed in themselves, even when no one else did. Within you, there is much more than your fears. You have immense power, and that power is only activated when you decide to believe in yourself. I'm not going to tell you it's an easy path, but I assure you it's worth every effort, because everything that comes into your life from today onward is defined by a single decision to believe. And when you do, you create. But before we continue, I want you to take a moment and leave in the comments, from now on, everything I set out to do, I will accomplish. This simple phrase will mark the moment when you decide to take control of your mind and start living with purpose. All right, let's begin. Do you know what people who inspire the world have in common? Leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, they all started just like you as ordinary people with doubts, with stumbles, with moments of darkness. But at some point, they decided to stop seeing themselves as victims and started seeing themselves as creators. When you choose to trust in what you know, in what you can learn, and in what you dream, everything begins to change because faith in yourself is contagious. It ignites everything around you. The way you speak changes, the way you walk changes, your energy changes, and the world starts to react to that without waiting for anyone's permission. You only need to give yourself permission. Permission to dream big, to try without fear, to fail, and start again. Because when you believe it's possible, the universe starts to move, paths open, people appear, opportunities arise, and it all starts in your mind. Imagine success. If you want to achieve it, you first have to see it in your mind. Before you hold it in your hands, you have to feel it in your heart. That's how those who go far do it. The great ones don't win the day they compete. They win every day they train in silence. Every day they visualize achieving their goal, celebrating, feeling proud for not giving up. That victory begins with a mental image, and you too can start yours. Pause, close your eyes for a moment, and visualize your dream life. Where are you? What are you doing? Who is with you? What emotions run through your body? That's not just a pretty thought. That vision can be your path, if you dare to walk toward it. Visualizing isn't fantasizing, it's sharpening your focus. When you have a clear goal, your decisions begin to align with that destination. You start moving as if it were already part of your life, and over time it becomes so. Don't ask yourself if it's possible. Ask yourself how you would do it if you had already achieved it. Live as if you were already the person you want to be. Speak, act, and think like that person. The more you connect with that future version of yourself, the faster you'll make it your reality. Visualize it every day. Feel it as yours, because if you see it with intensity, if you desire it with your soul and work with discipline, you will achieve it. Because when you truly believe, you create your world. Break the ideas that limit you. It's not what happens to you, it's what you think about it. Your thoughts can trap you or give you wings. From childhood, we're filled with phrases like, "That's not for you," "Not everyone makes it," "Better something safe than dreaming too much," and without realizing it, we repeat those phrases as if they were fixed rules. Nothing you believe about yourself is permanent. They're just ideas someone planted in your head, but just as they came, they can be changed. There's a prison harsher than any cell. It's that voice in your mind that tells you you're not enough, that you're not lucky, or that things always go wrong for you. That voice doesn't come from your essence. It comes from fear. No one is born with limits. We adopt them over time. But today you have the chance to break those mental chains, face them and say, Thank you for trying to protect me, but you no longer serve me. Today you decide to move forward, fear and all. Today you decide to believe, even if you don't have all the answers. Do you want to know if you have a belief holding you back? Look at any part of your life where you feel stuck or frustrated. There's surely a story you're repeating that needs to change. Every thought you have is like a seed. What are you planting? Excuses or courage? Fear or determination? Because what you plant in your mind as a thought grows. Change the way you think, and you'll see how your destiny changes. Say it with me: I am not my past mistakes. I am not what others said I was. I am who I decide to be from today. Because if I believe it and act with discipline, I make it a reality. Inspiration starts the engine, but discipline builds the path. It's easy to get motivated for one day, but what matters is acting when you don't feel like it, when you're alone, when there's no applause. Those are the moments when real results are born. Success isn't a magical explosion. It's the fruit of many small daily actions. It's getting up when the alarm rings, doing what needs to be done even if you're not in the mood, practicing without anyone asking you to, taking care of your body, your thoughts, your habits, because it all adds up. At first, it's hard, of course, because your mind craves comfort. But every time you choose to act instead of making excuses, you become stronger, braver, more unstoppable. Do you want to change your life? Start by changing your daily routine. Organize your day, focus, stop drifting, and start taking the helm. You don't need the perfect plan. You need a plan that moves you, one that even if it's not brilliant, you follow with consistency. Ask yourself every morning, what specific action brings me closer to my goal today? Write it down, do it, repeat it. And as days, months, and years pass, you'll see it wasn't luck. It was consistency, discipline, and focus. You don't have to do huge things, just the right ones, every day. If you persist long enough, success won't be a surprise, it will be a consequence. Now listen closely to this. Failure is not your enemy. What truly holds you back is giving up. We've all failed. We've all felt like we can't go on, but giving up is the only thing that turns a fall into defeat. How many times were you on the verge of achieving something and let go because fear won? It wasn't that you couldn't do it. It was that you got tired of trying. And that's normal, but don't stay there. The people you admire most have also stumbled, lost, felt doubts. The difference is they got back up. Failure doesn't determine your worth. You're not what you failed at. You're what you do after the mistake. Every fall can be a lesson, an opportunity, a new attempt with more wisdom. You have two options: stay in guilt or build with what you've learned. Choose to grow. Ask yourself, what did I learn? What can I improve? How will I do it differently next time? Because as long as you're learning, you're never losing. And finally, don't compare yourself. No one has lived exactly what you've lived. No one knows how many times you've had to start over. This path is yours, and you're building it step by step with your story, your effort, and your decisions. Every time you get up after falling, you become stronger, wiser, and prouder of yourself. Don't be scared if you fail. What should really worry you are those days when you do nothing, when you repeat the same excuses, when you put your dreams off for later. Because as long as you're moving, even if it's slow, you're advancing. So get up, shake it off, look in the mirror, and say with conviction, yes, I messed up, but this isn't over. I'm just getting started. Because if you truly feel it, even in your worst moments, you make it real. Now, let's talk about your environment. There's something very powerful you might not be seeing. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And no, it's not just another motivational phrase. It's a truth that affects everything. How you think, how you feel, how you act. If you spend a lot of time with people who complain, who see everything negatively, who always have an excuse, it rubs off on you without you realizing it. It changes the way you talk, the way you see life. Even your energy drops. But if you surround yourself with people who dream big, who don't give up, who vibrate with a desire to grow, you start to shine too. You begin to express yourself differently, walk with more confidence, think bigger, and it's not about criticizing others. It's about protecting your mental peace, guarding your energy like it's pure gold, because it is. If your space is full of noise, doubts, and toxicity, you can't expect clarity or inspiration to come. Look around you. Your environment either lifts you up or holds you back. It makes you feel capable or crushes you. Maybe it's time to set boundaries. Choose better. Build a new environment where you can grow. And if you don't have someone nearby who inspires you, it doesn't matter. Seek out books, listen to podcasts, watch videos, follow people who uplift you. Today, you can create your own circle, one that reminds you of what you're capable of, even when you forget. Because it's not enough to want to change. You have to live in a space where that change is possible, and that space is your choice. You can build it, strengthen it, protect it, because your future depends on it more than you imagine. Get closer to greatness, and your mind will expand on its own. If you surround yourself with people who believe, who act, who move forward, sooner or later you will too, and you'll feel it clearly again. If you believe it, you create it. Let's talk now about something we often forget: gratitude. We all want more, we dream of more, and that's perfectly fine. But in the race for what's next, sometimes we don't see the value of what we already have. That's where gratitude comes in. Being grateful isn't about settling, it's about being aware, looking around and saying, thank you for this, and yet I want to keep growing, because when you're truly grateful, you connect with abundance, and that attracts more abundance. Have you noticed that when you feel grateful, everything flows better? Your energy changes, your attitude improves, and your mind opens to new possibilities. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions out there, and the best part is it costs nothing. It just requires attention. Be grateful for what you've overcome, for those days when you thought you couldn't go on and still did, for the people who stood by you, and also for those who left and taught you something. Give thanks for every step, even the ones you took with fear. Make gratitude a daily habit. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each day. Read them, feel them, repeat them. And you'll see how everything starts to change, because you stop focusing on what you lack and start recognizing everything you already have. And here's the secret. When you're grateful with your heart, even for what you don't yet have, you start to attract it, because the universe responds to the vibration of someone who already feels blessed. Gratitude doesn't dim your desire to grow, it fuels it, because now you move forward from fullness, not from need. And that's where the real magic happens, when you're grateful for what you have while working for what you want, because if you believe it, you create it. And if you're grateful for it, you attract it. You are the one with the power. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you were told, or the mistakes you made. What matters is what you decide to do from now on, because you are the creator of your reality. You're not just a spectator, you're the architect of your path. You have the power to choose, to turn an idea into action, to turn a dream into a goal, and to find calm even in the midst of chaos. And even though many times you don't see it clearly, even though the path feels heavy and it seems like everything is against you, you still have the power to decide. You can stand in the middle of the storm and tell yourself, today I won't give up. Today I keep moving forward, even if it's a small step, because that's what makes you strong. Not what you win, but what you endure without losing heart. It's not about having all the answers. It's about keeping the question alive. What can I do today to get a little closer to the life I want? And even if you're scared, even if you doubt yourself, keep walking. That's worth gold. That's courage. Don't wait for the world to change for you. Start by changing your energy, your focus, your words. Sometimes what you need isn't for the world to be different, but for you to start seeing it with new eyes. And that's where the real change begins. It starts when you stop complaining and start being grateful, when you stop comparing yourself and focus on building your path, step by step, with effort, with patience, and with faith. Remember that everything that seems difficult today will one day be part of your story of overcoming. That story you'll tell with pride, that story that will inspire others. So don't hold back, don't stop out of fear, don't sabotage yourself thinking you're not enough, because you are. You're more capable than you imagine. You have within you a strength you haven't even fully discovered. And that strength shows up when you decide not to give up, when you choose to keep going even when no one applauds, even when no one believes in you. And if today you feel alone, remember that growth sometimes feels like that, quiet, without witnesses, without rewards. But that doesn't mean you're not moving forward. Quite the opposite. That's when you're evolving the most. That's when you're building your character, your vision, your purpose. No one can do it for you. This is your race, your battle, your dream. And if today you're fighting for yourself, you're already winning. Maybe you don't have everything figured out. Maybe you haven't reached where you want to be. But if today you're fighting for yourself, if today you're investing in your mind, your soul, your growth, then you're on the right path. Don't seek approval. Seek connection with yourself. Let your decisions not depend on others' validation, but on the clarity of your vision. Because you know what you want, you know what you deserve, and that's all that matters. Build a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside, because there's no point in appearing happy if you're broken inside. Work on yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Take care of your thoughts, your body, your peace. The world may be in chaos, but you can decide to be your own refuge. You can be your safe home, the place where there's calm, where there's hope, where there's love for who you are today, and faith in who you're becoming. And now we've reached the end of this message, but before we close, I want to leave you with this reflection. Your life doesn't change overnight, but it does change the moment you decide you don't want to stay the same anymore. That instant when you say, enough, today I start doing things differently. That moment is worth more than 1,000 promises, because it's the first real step toward your transformation. And if you believe it with all your heart, then you will create it. Thank you for listening until the end, for giving yourself this space to reflect, to connect with yourself, to remember what you already know, but sometimes forget that you have the power, that you are the author of your story, that your future is still in your hands. Thank you truly for being here, for sharing this moment. I send you a huge hug full of positive energy, and I'll be waiting for you with all my heart in the next video, because this is just the beginning. Let's go all in.